is what you get. This is what you get when you mess with love.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do.
Opportunism that has come out of this, I mean, that's kind of deplorable and unconscionable what some people are doing. This is not the time to start looking for, grandstanding and things of that nature.
There's a giant duel, a debate going on in the country right now, in part based on what you said about the vitriol in the country, the need to have some soul searching in the country. And I don't know if you've heard about Rush Limbaugh. He said, "So predictable, so childish, so immature, it's led to a number of people making abject fools of themselves. The sheriff has made a fool of himself. I don't know if he knows it yet or not." By accusing people that have nothing whatsoever to do with this sordid, unfortunate event as accomplices to murder. It's silly on its face.
Well, the kind of rhetoric that flows from people like Rush Limbaugh, in my judgment, he's irresponsible, uses partial information, sometimes wrong information.
Sheriff Clarence Dupnick did place some blame. He suggested in his word, and I'm quoting him now, vitriol, that's a direct quote, in politics and the media, inflaming the American public to dangerous levels. Let's bring in our senior political analyst, Gloria Borger, and our national political correspondent, Jessica Yellen. They're both working this story for us. So, I've covered a lot of these news conferences, Jessica. Normally, sheriff comes out, gives us the nuts and bolts. This was extraordinary, what we heard from this sheriff. Is there any evidence that the suspected shooter in this particular case was a Sarah Palin fan,
No.
read Sarah Palin's websites,
Absolutely
was
not.
a member of Facebook, watched her tweets or anything like that?
None at all.
Soul searching, a lot of finger pointing at this point. Is it fair to be placing blame at the feet of anyone other than the shooter at this point?
I'm not saying he was specifically listening to Mr. Beck or anybody else. But Glenn Beck is also, I think it's disingenuous for the right wing, as I've heard them say today, that we can't make any connection here, or else the false equivalency argument that I hear. There's a lot of nuts on the left too. Yeah, there are nutty people on the left too. They don't make threats. They don't talk about
63-year-old
guns.
Eric Fuller, who was shot in the knee and the back, was charged with threats and disorderly conduct. Witnesses say he took a picture of a Tea Party spokesman and said, quote, "You're dead." He was also ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation.
They don't talk about guns.
Rush Limbaugh is beginning to look more and more like Mr. Big, and at some point somebody's going to jam a CO2 pellet into his head and he's going to explode like a
I heard someone on NPR today say, well, and when Bush was president, there was Bush equals Hitler signs. From who? Not from someone in Congress.
Americans had done to prisoners in their control, you would most certainly believe this must have happened by Nazis.
MoveOn.org ran those ads that compared President Bush with Adolf Hitler. I thought it was despicable. They did do it, and I'll show you the ad.
They never ran an ad that compared.
Right,
MoveOn never
anyway,
ran an
all
ad
right.
that compared.
Well,
Some nut out there. I don't know who had that sign. But Sarah Palin put the crosshairs up on her website. That's a person in a position of authority. Her other example was, Keith Olbermann says, worst person in the world. Well, first of all, it's comedy.
That's the problem with this country. They say that there's not enough bipartisanship. There's too much. We have Democrats for one reason, to drag the ignorant hillbilly half of this country into the next century, which in their case is the 19th.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. And
they don't understand the issues. They're too stupid. They're like a dog. They can understand inflection. They can understand fear. They can understand dominance.
Latinos sit out the election instead of saying we're going to punish our enemies and we're going to reward our friends.
Is there any evidence that the suspected shooter in this particular case was a Sarah Palin fan, read Sarah Palin's websites,
Absolutely
was
none.
a member of Facebook, watched her tweets or anything like that?
None at all, and there is no
63-year-old
evidence
Eric
that this
Fuller, who was shot in the knee and the back, was charged with threats and disorderly conduct. Witnesses say he took a picture of a Tea Party spokesman and said, quote, "You're dead." He was also ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get.